G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game. We are here on Dry Arabia to witness two Conqueror 3 players go at it mono in mono, and we've already got ourselves a fun little start. Let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen. Spawning on the east side of the map in the color yellow, playing as the English, it's Fei-Chan. And on the west side of the map in the color red, playing as the Rus, it's Soldier. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Dry Arabia. It's a pleasure to have your company. Put your legs up. Go grab yourself a cup of tea, hit that like button, and of course, let's get into it, because have a look at this. We've got ourselves quite the Dark Age opening already from Faye. She is intent on just committing to a farm opening, and I like this a lot. I think one of the big things about the English is that obviously you've got cheap farms, but not only that, you've got much higher gather rate farms. So if we take a look here, you can see a 15% interest rate. I was going to say 15% increased gather rate, 15% interest rate. Geez, that'd be pretty high. It's getting there. It's not that high, but house now coming down. But what's interesting here is that we're seeing 3 farms getting thrown down. We've seen 1 before. We've seen 2. There were the good old days where we used to see like 6 farms getting thrown down. Do you guys remember that? That was like, what, Season 2, Season 3 for the English? They'd always do like 6 farms all around the town center. But, oh, hold your horses, Drongo. Perhaps it is going to happen here. Now, when I see something like this happen, what this to me says, I want to go fast Imperial. That's what this says. And there's a couple reasons why it says this, but the big one for me is that basically what you're doing here is the food that you've got in your base is a finite resource. This sheep that you're bringing in, it's a finite resource. So the sooner that you kick it over onto an infinite source of food, a la farms, then the better that is for you. It also means that you've got flexibility when you move vills from food to another resource or back to food. Makes it much easier for you to get those timings in when you need them. So going for these early farms like this, especially in the Dark Age, might seem a little bit dangerous, a little bit counterintuitive, but it does make a lot of sense because this is infinite resources you're getting from the beginning of the game. Let's check back in over with Soldier though, as the age up's about to come through for him, playing on the Rus here. Do see he's got plenty of sheep in the base. He actually had enough to age up, but I think he threw another villager in the queue. Looks like a couple vills moving up towards that top side. Probably going to be the Kremlin thrown down here. Of course, it's going to be the Golden Gate. How you doing? We got ourselves a little bit of a mix-up today. We got the Golden Gate. I think both of these players have forgotten that they're playing in season... Are we in season 7? Drongo, don't tell me you've forgotten the season. Is it season 7? Season 8? I don't know. I mentioned this in another video. Like, this season has been one of those seasons where I just feel like it goes forever. And I think one of the reasons why that is because normally, like, the devs throw us like some scraps during the season. They're like, oh, okay, you know, here's a balance change. We've decreased the health of the archer from 70 to 63. Like, just some really small, I mean, that's actually a pretty big change. But, I mean, it would something smaller than that, right? And then, like, they'll change the map pool. Here, we haven't had a single change. So I feel like we've been playing the same Age of Empires for years at this point. I'm starting to think, do we need to get together? Do we need to make a fan patch? Are we having to fork Age of Empires 4 already? Like, game's been out for 3 years and we're forking it already, but you got to do what you got to do. Anyway, it is we got the Golden Gate coming through, of course. On the other side of the map, though, let's check in with Faye, as it is going to be the Abbey of Kings that's thrown down. 6 vills on the Abbey of Kings. Still a pretty decent time here for this age up. I'm kind of impressed. I'm not going to lie. The fact that she has been able to go into 7 farms this early on, and then at the same time still get this age up in at a competitive time, because this will be very competitive. This will be before 5 minutes, at least it should be before 5 minutes on that age up. Now, I think the big question is going to be whether she goes into the second TC. And I feel like if there's one thing that is a bit of a drawback by going into these farms early, it's that it delays your second TC. Let me explain. The sooner that second TC comes online, the sooner you start producing your second round of villagers every 20 seconds. So if it comes online a minute earlier, that's 3 extra villagers. So eventually you're going to add in those farms, right? But you're never going to be able to get those villagers that you've missed. So if Faye does indeed go for that second town center, then she will 100% have missed out on those villagers. But I guess the alternative is that she perhaps just looks to throw an outpost down on the gold, maybe go for a castle age. That could be an option for her. Let's check it on the other side of the map, though. A Soldier now with the Golden Gate down looks to get out his first Lancer. A couple of scouts in the middle of the map. I'm sure his bounty is doing particularly well, as he's now starting to pick up a couple of wolves here as well. Age up comes through for Faye a little bit after the 4-minute 50 mark, and there's the second mill already getting thrown down. 5-6 vills on the gold. Is it just going to be? Is it just going to be a fast castle directly? Not going to be fussing around with the second TC? Interesting decision, and I'm kind of curious to see how this goes, because surely for Soldier, all he needs to do is just put pressure on this gold, and it's going to be difficult for Faye to even consider making it to Castle Age. But I guess she's got a number of ways she can play it. Now, one other thing to note is both of these guys regularly make content for Age of Empires 4. Faye streams. Soldier, he's got himself a YouTube channel. Though to be fair, if I remember correctly, Soldier's actually doing Age of Empires 3 content. So I'll leave a link to it. If you want to go watch some Age of Empires 3 content, and you haven't been watching Soldier, well, go check him out. I was actually having a chat with him pretty recently. Had a look at his content. I was impressed, man. I was like, damn, this is good stuff. I think I sat down and watched a video. I was like, wow, this is good stuff. All right, well, King now going to be facing off against the Lancer. Lancer, yeah, we can see the Vil's just going to turn and fight up against that Lancer. Rather, it's a knight. It's a knight. Falling back away from it, we do see 11 Vils out here on the gold. So Faye going to be in 10. Also picking up the upgrades. We've got double broadaxe coming in, wheelbarrow. We've got horticulture just yet. No horticulture just yet. Normally you'd expect horticulture to come in pretty early, especially considering how many Vils you've got here on food with those farms. But King going to be able to get some decent control out early. Second knight now on the field. Meanwhile, for Soldier, it looks like we might have a secondary town center coming in shortly. Keep in mind, he does have the ability to do some exchanges. Can exchange 100 gold for 150 stone. So not a bad little exchange, but he is just going to instead look to move out villagers onto stone. So it is going to be a second TC. Definitely a smart move for him. Is that? Okay, it's not. It looked like it was a little bit too far away from the stone mine. Hand-in comes through. He's got 400 stone in the bank. Vils all jump inside. Gets a little bit of a garrison, but that King is now... It's interesting to see how the tempo of this matchup has changed. That we've got Faye, as the English, forcing the Rus player to defend. Forcing the Rus player to stay inside his base. Making sure that the Rus player does not come and attack Faye. And that's painful, right? Because normally in this situation, as the English, you're going to be looking at the very least, throwing down a barracks, at least getting out a couple of spears. But now we do start to see a bit of pressure put onto the gold vein. Falling back. Town center gets thrown down. Bit of an awkward spot for this TC. I don't know how I feel about this. I mean, you just palisade wall the bottom side, or rather, fortified palisade wall. Is that what it's called? Yeah, fortified palisade wall. Fortified palisade wall on the bottom side here. Don't really need the TC. I feel like the TC probably would have been better off, you know, over on... But I guess you got double back deer as well. So there's really no decent spot for it. I mean, you could walk out over to the boar, but then you're just going to kind of delay it. Maybe it's not a bad spot here, because you do... Yeah, all right. You know what, Soldier? I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you. Let's check in over on Faye, though, and see how she's doing as she adds in her 16th... I was going to say 16th. 15th farm. I guess I technically did say 16th, but yeah, we do see now plenty of food and gold being stockpiled here for Faye. So it looks like she is going to be indeed going up to Castle Age. And I think the big question is going to be, which landmark does she choose? Obviously, two primary options here. White Tower, King's Palace. If you go White Tower, I feel like you've got way too many Vils on food here to go for the White Tower. Normally, if you go for the White Tower, you probably want between like 11 to 12 Vils on food after you've aged up. So this is like, to me, it says it's too much. And I'm still kind of leaning towards that fast Imperial. King's Palace would make sense here, especially because you've spotted out your enemy's second town center. So it's a great way to be able to keep up with them. Second knight now coming in, looking to put pressure on. Unable to find any connection just yet. Both players yet to lose a villager. And indeed it is the King's Palace going to be coming forward here. Bit of a tough spot. If this gets spotted out by Soldier, there's a good chance he could force a... I'm not going to say force a cancellation, but definitely could do a little bit of delaying here. Just because you bring those knights in along this edge here. Vils have got quite a bit of a way to go before they get back to the town center. But that all depends on whether Soldier actually spots that out. And we see that he has not done that. He's moved back towards his base. Well, I say that. He's got a couple more knights out. In fact, he's got quite a few knights out here at this stage. I do like the way that he's playing this so far. The 2 TCs into the knights. To be honest, I'd love to see a third TC. I don't think we'll see a third TC, but I would love to see the third TC. Hunting dogs, oh my god, it's, you know why? It's Age of Empires 3, that's why. Survival techniques, that's the one I was thinking of. It's funny, I looked at that and I said hunting dogs. No, that's not hunting dogs, Drongo, that is survival techniques, but you're so close. Hunting dogs, for anybody not playing along at home, is the tier 1 food gathering technology in Age of Empires 3. I think it's also in AOM as well, but have a look at this. Looks like Faye was thinking about maybe a third TC herself. Loses a villager for it, though. Mining camp. Not going to be coming up today. Plenty of knights out on the field. May even have to think about moving into a stable or two just to get a couple of knights out to respond. I don't see any way that she's going to get this mining camp up. It is just Soldier that's going to be preventing this from coming up. King now moving out here as well. And more knights towards that top side, just idling out for the moment. Decent damage comes through. Going to look to focus down the scout. Unable to find it. Vils firing off towards that first knight. And now going to be looking to pick off the Vils. That's a second one that's going to go down here. Nice little body blocking that's going on here. Difficult for Soldier to find a cohesive attack on these units, but manages to take out the scout, manages to pick up a villager as well. Not too bad. Soldier with that villager lead. Now approaching a decent amount, a meaningful amount. 6 villagers, the difference here. And of course, that's only going to be exacerbated by more and more villager kills. Plenty of food being gathered out on the map here. We see 8 out on the boar. Plenty more back here on the deer as well. Keep in mind, he's got that second back deer as well. But this king is getting really good value. I think, is it just like, I think it's just got to be this awkward little position around the stone where, for some reason, the knights are just not finding a connection. They're just, it's very, very awkward. Meanwhile, towards the base of Fae, upgrades continue to come through. It's going to be specialized pick. It's already through. Acid distillation on the way now for Fae. Also going to be seeing fertilization. So not only have we got that horticulture, but fertilization also coming through. King with a little bit of a repair in. Keep in mind the King does have a lot of health on it, so it can tank up plenty of damage. Before it does go down, the Vil's always able to fire away in the back pocket. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, it's going to be the Abbey of Trinity that gets thrown down here for Soldier. So definitely, I feel like we have got ourselves... Am I casting? Is this a game from like 2022 that we're casting right now? The only thing that's missing is what is it? Professional scouts. The only thing that's missing is professional scouts. You know what? If Soldier goes Castle Age and makes a whole bunch of archery ranges and just goes horse archers, I'm genuinely thinking I may just be, maybe I'm just commentating over an old video game, an old game that was played back in 2022. That's how you say it. You don't say it 2022, Drongo. It's 2022. There we go. Rack's now going to be coming up here as well for Faye. I think she'll probably just be moving into a couple spears. This is difficult. Definitely not going to be able to afford getting up a keep or a town center here without those spears. You can see she's managed to hand in 100 over here though. And slowly but steadily, those resource numbers are climbing. So she is indeed moving towards Imperial Age. This is kind of wild that she's able to do this. So she was pretty much one base into Castle Age, very, very greedily. This is a really greedy style of English. I'm going to say that right now. 4 Vils taken out so far. But you can definitely feel that she is prepping for something. There we go. Okay, it's going to be men-at-arms that she's moving into, rather than going into just... I would have thought just like a handful of spears. Like 3 or 4 spears here would have been perfect. Let's check back in with Soldier, though, and see how he's doing as the push continues coming to shove over here. He's doing a really good job just stopping this stone. This is so annoying to deal with because he basically says, Faye, you have to make spears. If you don't make spears, I'm just going to stay here all damn day. And that's exactly what Soldier does. Pops a little bit of damage. Manages to get a Vil for his trouble. 5 workers taken out now. And in the middle of them... Oh my god, it's happening! It's actually happening! Please don't tell me it's horse archers. If it's horse archers, I'm actually going to eat my shoe. I'm not actually going to eat my shoe. I won't do it. I think I said that once on a live stream, and it happened, and then I had to eat my shoe. It was a shoe made out of chocolate. It was an expensive shoe, but it was a delicious shoe. This much can be said. Another 3 workers going down. Soldier doing a wonderful job here of just picking apart the defenses of Faye, but I just feel like this is a mistake from Faye, right? Like, you are spending so much of your time, so much of your life just fighting here. You shouldn't be. Just get a couple spears and just stop the discussion. There doesn't need to be a discussion. Relic's now getting picked up here as well from Soldier. Okay, it's just archers. It's just archers. All right. Don't worry. I'll put my shoes back on. This one was not made of chocolate, fortunately. Could you imagine wearing chocolate shoes? What's the melting point of chocolate's pretty low. Pretty low? Yeah, pretty low. It's pretty low. It's like, what do you reckon the melting point of chocolate is? 21 degrees? Probably, yeah, I'll go with like 21 degrees. It's probably lower than that, actually, now that I think about it. It melts pretty quickly, man. Like, you touch it, but our fingers are pretty warm, aren't they? I'm just thinking about like 21 degree heat coming out of the duct in the roof. I'm like, that's hot. Like, that would melt chocolate for sure. But I don't know, is it the pressure of the fan as well? Because, you know, we're not just running the fan here. And if we were, we'd be running just level 3 fan. Level 3 fan. This is the town center finally coming up here for Faye. She's looking for that Imperial Age. Throws down some men-at-arms. Is she doing like the men-at-arm only challenge? Is that what we're going to be seeing here? Somehow this town center is going to get up. There's no way. King's going to go down. Ville's getting brought forward here to help maneuver and keep this town center alive. We're all good. We're all good. Archer numbers starting to build here. I did see Soldier had plenty of food in the bank, but there it goes. The Berkshire Palace being dropped down barely a tile outside the main town center. I think she's still got a spot in here. Oh, yep. I think... Oh, no, she doesn't. That's 5 tiles. I thought she might have enough room in here to get the next one down. And now you can see the trouble. Oh, Lord. It's happening. The night... Oh, wait. I'm seeing it. You guys aren't. Hold on. I'm going to try and fix that. Okay, I fixed it. Don't worry. I went into windowed mode for some reason. You guys didn't see the windowed mode. I saw the windowed mode. Let's get that back in. Hold on. Let's try again. Okay. Okay, I think we're all right here. I think we're okay. Okay. For some reason, Soldier has given mercy to Faye and said, you know what, Faye? I'm going to let you complete your landmark. To me, this doesn't make sense. To me, this doesn't make sense at all. He's sitting on 39 military units. His opponent, 4 military units. Men at arms. And he just falls back. Is he that confident? Is he that sure that he's going to be able to take her out? That he says, you know what? We're going to do it the long and the hard way. That's how it's going to happen. Well, mad respect to Soldier, because you probably could have won the game right there. I think that almost would have been 100% tapping out. As long as that Berkshire doesn't get cancelled, you just have all of your army sitting right here, not getting attacked by the town center. Oh, there we go. Ville's not able to build, and sieging down the Berkshire. That's it. Now Faye can't afford to get the Berkshire up. Gold at the back of the base. Plenty of Villes on it. A little bit of a breakout towards that top side. There's a part of me that thinks it wasn't necessarily Soldier letting Faye get it up, but rather just fearful of what was going to be coming. But then it's like, you've got pretty good vision, right? Like, you know exactly what's going on. You've got a scout with your army. There's really no excuse for it. So if Faye somehow manages to win this game, we will look back on this moment and say, that was it. That was it. That was the moment right there that Soldier should have committed to taking out the Berkshire, because the Berkshire wasn't built. University's up now. Enclosures is on the way. I can confirm we do have enclosures coming online in 10 seconds. Not a very long time at all. I remember when I used to stream on, I think it was on Twitch. I say that I think it was on Twitch. I mean, I know that I streamed on Twitch. I'm trying to think. Okay, I remember. It was when I was casting for EGC. That's right. And people in the chat would be like, does the English have their enclosures yet? And everyone would always be like, nah, they don't have it yet. But the English would just like get their enclosures as soon as they would go to Imperial. But people would always just keep asking. I feel like people would just type in the chat like, hey, I just got here. Did the English get their enclosures yet? So look, I'm just going to say right now, as a matter of fact, Faye has indeed got her enclosures. She got a pretty solid base here as well. I like the fact that she went up to 3 TC. Should eventually be able to catch Soldier here. Keep in mind behind this, Soldier is on 2 TC, but he's done a lot of eco damage and continues to do eco damage, taking out a fair few villagers here. Berkshire raining down fire from the heavens above. No units inside just yet. Now more over towards the west side of the map, we see the monasteries picked up 2 relics here. 3 relics in the Abbey of the Trinity. How many tickets have we got in the Golden Gate? We got 3 tickets in the Golden Gate, so could definitely be looking to try and get a couple of keeps up. That's normally the best utilization of your tickets, is to exchange your gold for stone. That's normally the best way. All 3 sacred sites now being held, by the way, for Soldier. It's in a decent little spot here. I don't think this is a realistic threat, but it definitely feels like a threat that you're not going to be able to deal with easily. Men-at-arms now make their way across the map. They're going to be able to take out the first of them, and we do hear the high armory getting thrown down just to the north. So now you've got the high trade house and the high armory, though we don't see the high trade house, not today. Men-at-arms going to be going down here. Elite upgrades on the way. We also see arrow volley coming through here for Faye, getting some veterancy on those longbows. That'll be really nice for her. Hopefully be able to pick apart that backline pretty easily. I find it interesting, though, that she has just gone into men-at-arms, that she hasn't gone into any other unit, and I think that's probably a credit to the fact that English men-at-arms are very, very good. It feels great making English men-at-arms also because of the synergy with the farms. Like, you have these farms that are gathering faster than normal, and they're also gathering gold. It just feels like there's such great synergy there. I could make 1 million men-at-arms and still feel like I could probably make more men-at-arms. Like, these are good men-at-arms, these English men-at-arms. Lancers, Knights, coming through. Managed to find a decent connection, and it's going to be a cleanup. I'll be surprised if Soldier loses a single unit over here. Meanwhile, towards the front side, Wooden Fortress under pressure. We can see the Trebuchet has come out for Faye. She's taken the Vil lead here. Now, you'll need to give me a moment. I'm not sure if you guys know this, but I am a little bit sick at the moment. Having just come back from the Philippines into Australia. I was sick within 4 days, 5 days, so I got a bit of a frog in my throat, itchy throat. A little bit of a, yeah, I gotta take a sip of water. Give me a second here. Oh, man. Oh, dude. How good is water? When you're thirsty. I've been watching a lot of Northern Lion. You know, Northern Lion, for anyone who hasn't seen him before, he's a content creator that's been around for a long time. And I never really watched him. And, like, I'd seen his streams on Twitch, and I'd be like, eh, not really my thing. But I don't know what happened. I think it was like I got recommended one of his videos and I watched it, and then you know what YouTube algorithm is like, right? You watch one video halfway through and it's like, hey, congratulations, we've just found your new hobby. It's Northern Lion videos. Anyway, in one of the videos he's talking about, he does this thing where he's like, did you see that tweet? I don't use Twitter, so it's great to be able to see tweets from him. But he was talking about how there was a tweet from a guy who's like, man, water hits so hard when you're thirsty. Like, yep. Yeah, it sure does, brother. It sure does. Anyway, I'm thirsty at the moment. That water, it's hitting hard. Like, that is some good water. I'm going back for seconds. Give me a second here. Oh, that's good. That is good, man. Water is, I will confirm, water is great when you are thirsty. All right, towards the top side. Faye gonna get caught out of position. A little bit curious what she's doing up here. Does have the elite upgrades on the longbowman. Still no spears here to help defend. We can see that on the side of Soldier, these Knights are yet to get their elite upgrades. But keep in mind, these Knights have got a lot of different upgrades that you can actually go through. Let's have a look and see if we can spot them. So Boyer's Fortitude is one. We also see Knight Poleaxes and, of course, Biology. So 3 upgrades there that you can potentially get that are going to just push you even further ahead when it comes to your Rus cavalry. Streltsy now on the field as well. Trebuchet. Going a little bit wide here. Longbow number starting to... Oh, gosh. This is it. This is it. I can feel it. Look at the longbow mass, dude. Look at the longbow mass. This is where you start to get really worried as Soldier, and you're like, shit, what do I do against the longbows? It's okay. He worked it out. You make a mangonel. That's what you got to do. I can see he's got 3 in queue. That's exactly what he needs. Streltsy numbers continuing to build here, but keep in mind the longbows just do so effectively against them. I don't know, is that the right way to say it? So effectively? They do very effectively. They're super effective. It's super effective. Longbows at the back, just look at this effective longbow use right now. Come on, Faye, pick it up. There we go. Faye now going to start microing down enemy units. We can see the Streltsy just getting obliterated by the longbows. She's got so many longbows in here, she's overkilling the Streltsy. And that's pretty impressive because these guys have got a lot of health on them. Mangonel pushing up. She'll need to move into Springalds. Oh, Lord. She's going to need to move in. Oh, Lord. On the top rope. Big shot comes in. Mango finds a lovely connection. And now, Soldier, slowly but steadily. Oh, the incendiary arrow is now going to be coming through. This could be what she needs to hold. Keep in mind, she's also got palings in play. But ideally, in this situation, she's going to need to get a Springled. At the very least 2. Just to try and take out this Mangonel before the enemy Springalds snipe her out. Mango shot once again. It's decent. Takes out 3 more longbows. Springalds also doing work on the backside. Keep up towards the north. Manages to secure up a goal. Longbow numbers still continuing to do work here. She's rallying more and more. We can see them joining in. And she's just focusing down the Mangonel. The good old-fashioned way. You love to see it, but you don't really. It's a painful way. Falling back towards the Berkshire. Berkshire providing cover fire right now. Cover me, Berkshire. I'm going deep. And indeed she is. But now she's going to have to go extra deep because the triple Mangonel threat is out from the top rope. Watch out. Watch out, Faith. The split's coming through. She's looking a little bit like a gymnast. Double shot towards the top. Manages to find a couple. Not a whole lot, though. Second one comes in. Goes over the top. Now the big shots down the middle. There it is. Hits 4-5 longbowmen. Faye needs to continue falling back towards that Berkshire. Let your Berkshire show you the light. Let your Berkshire show you the way. The defensive god, the Berkshire. Enable it, Faye. Bring these villagers out of here. Maybe even throw them in the Berkshire for that extra firepower. It's just these longbows. They need assistance. They can't be doing it themselves. You can't be fighting longbows against mangoes. It just doesn't work. And now slowly and steadily, the mangoes do begin to lose health, but have a look how quickly those longbows go down when the mangoes return fire. Streltsy numbers starting to build here. Throwing down a couple more farms on the backside. I hope she's got wood in the bank. We haven't even checked what her income's looking like at the moment. Let's do a little bit of a switcheroo and see how we're doing. At the moment, she's down 20 vils. Doesn't really have a lot. Oh, she's got 4k gold in the bank and she's not making any golden units. You know, she could have made Springalds just from her Berkshire Palace. And that would have easily settled this problem. I really feel like for Faye, one of the biggest issues she's facing this game is just inability to react to the enemy's units, right? Like, we saw how much spears were needed earlier on this gold vein, and there was none. We saw how much Springalds were needed in this fight, and there were none. And to me, it just boggles my mind that you've got a player that's so good, so competent, so well versed in Age of Empires, and yet still doesn't make that connection. And I think it's just like, it's one of those things where she's obviously very good at the game, but she also just wants to play her way, and you gotta respect that. Mango shot comes in, looks to clean it up. Still, it doesn't look like there's much difference between the military pops, but you gotta remember, Soldier is rocking a huge military when it comes to siege. 24 population. Meanwhile, towards that topside keep will go down. Couple of horsemen in here, not gonna be able to find too much success. Keep in mind, we've also got the keeps that are coming up towards this topside. Oh, by the way, did I mention sacred sites? So initially when this was happening, I was saying, okay, it's not really a serious threat. I don't think at the time it was. I think it was something that you probably could have dealt with back then, but it's definitely turned into a serious threat. Faye is in a position where she is just, she's going for, she's going, what's the word? She's going uphill, but she's pedaling backwards. So it's not going well for her right now. Continues to fall back. Men-at-Arms now going to start joining into the fray. Does have the elite army tactics for her. Elite horsemen. Still not a huge amount of upgrades on these, but Soldier, I tell you what, he's just pumping units non-stop. He's doing a really good job with his production. Yeah, have a look at the production. Beautiful stuff from him. Just the way that he's got it all pushed towards the front here. Mango once again getting focused down by the longbows on the back. Big shot comes through, but now the horsemen, once they've made that connection, keep in mind, we've got a minute to go until Sacred Victory, and Faye doesn't look any closer to contesting this at all. Keep under attack by the Trebs. 1 minute until Sacred Victory. I'd love to see, oh gosh, look at this, 4k in the bank. Do we even have a market or anything that she can look to try and exchange resources from? It doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like it. It's painful to witness. Mango does go down once again. Longbow's doing a wonderful job. Who needs Springalds when you've got longbows? That is the question on my mind right now. But to be honest, I feel like they would definitely help. They would. I've tried the longbow only challenge, Faye, and I can tell you right now, it's difficult. It is difficult. Bombard finally coming out for Faye. Probably on this top side? Yeah, it's up here. So she's going to look to try and crack through the walls and then just sneak over to here. The only issue is she's got 20 seconds to go. So she needs to look at taking this sacred site, at least pausing that sacred site timer. Gets a nice little split off. If she doesn't run a Vil down here right now, this is it. In fact, I think this might be it. I don't see anything even close to the sacred sites. She's just fighting it out. She says, you know what? You've done well, soldier, in the end. You were the stronger fighter. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. We call it there. A tough game for Faye. I think in the end, the most pivotal thing was the fact she was losing those villagers early and really set her behind on tempo for the rest of the game. Anyway, fellas, go check them out. Links in the description. And of course, we'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.